So today we are going to have a talk by Dr. Lalit Mohan Pandey on the yoga philosophy, meditation and health. And Dr. Pandey is associate professor in Department of Bioscience and Bioengineering. At the same time, he takes keen interest in the yoga, and he is also associated with Ramashram Satsang Mathura. No, that is, there is one Mathura, there is a ashram, that Ramashram Satsang, and it was founded by one saint, Dr. Chaturbhuj Sahayji. He was the founder. In fact, he got inspired by Samarth Guru Mahatma Ramchandraji. Okay, and based on that inspiration, this one. So they are teaching a type of Ashtanga Yoga only, particularly focusing on Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi and Pratyahara. Okay, so these concepts, okay, means not giving much focus on the Yam Niyam Asana. It directly they are giving the focus from the meditation side. And Pratyahara also comes there, means actually there is a sequence wise it is Yam Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. 8. But what happens that they follow that sequence slightly different. As Pandeyji told me, they do that Dharana, Dhyan, Dharana, Dhyan, and Pratyahara. Dharana, Dhyan, then Pratyahara. Correct? Dharana, Dhyan, Pratyahara and Samadhi. Okay, like that. So anyway, so he will tell more about that, his philosophy, and so let us listen to his talk. Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Dasu, the Dean Student Affairs, and Professor Dikshit sir for invitation, giving this opportunity for this talk. And this is very good initiative of the Government of India that we are discussing on the yoga and what is the human nature. Once we think, then it comes to the action. So I hope this will be beneficial to all of us. And title of my today's talk is Yoga Philosophy, Meditation and the Health. So these are the outlines, broad outlines. What is yoga? Then evolution of creation, means formation of life, followed by what are different forms of sadhana to achieve the yoga. Then I will briefly discuss Patanjali Yoga Sutra, or you can say Ashtanga Yoga, followed by a brief introduction of Ramashram Satsang Mathura and a research on this Yoga Sutra, which is mostly this meditation or the Upasana, and briefly I will talk 10 basic principles of sadhana. So from the school days we do this prayer. It says Asto ma sadgamaya, tamso ma jyotirgamaya, and mrityor ma mritangamaya. So it has lot of material word significance as well as spiritual word significance. So what are these? Asat, tam and mrityu. So these are related with material world. So what we want? We want to move from the material world to the eternal world to the perpetual world. So for this we need to do yoga. So what we want is you want to move from the physical world or the material world to the eternal world, or you can say spiritual world, and that is the yoga. In fact, if you just see, the yoga is our natural instinct. So in our life what we look for? We look for happiness and anand. So for that what we do? We try to connect with something. So where we connect? In general, material world. We connect with our job, we connect with our family, business, property and positions. So when we connect these things, what happens? We get the moment happiness, but as this material world has a dual nature, means it is temporary, it is changeable, and it decreases. So what happens? We ultimately we get moment happiness, but we don't get the happiness and pleasure what we are looking for. So why it happens? Because this dual nature of this physical world. So as we know, this if there is a day, there will be night. If it is a profit, there will be loss. If it is happy, then we will be sad. So this is the dual nature. So we are strict with dual nature. Why it is happening? Because we are connecting with the material world. So what we need to do? We need to connect with eternal world. If you connect with eternal world, what is that? If you remember, Asto Ma Sadgamaya. We need to connect with the truth. We need to connect with the light. Then what we'll get? Then only we can get ultimate happiness and pleasure, what we are looking for. And as of now, where we are looking for this job, business, property and position, we are looking in the external world. So rather than external world, we have to focus and look into the inner world. So in the inner world, we can get the real happiness. If you remember this few lines, this Kasturi Kundal Base Mrig Dhude Banmai. So what it says is, nectar lies in the navel of the deer, but it roams around the forest for its pregnancy, but it never gets it. This is the same situation with us. The real happiness lies within us, but we are looking around the world, particularly in the material world. So with this, I think you can understand what is the definition of yoga. The definition of yoga is union with our origin, union with our source. And what we get if you connect with this our source or the origin, it results in the accomplishment. It results in the completion. For example, if you take a drop of water and you take its origin C, both are H2O. But can you produce electricity with a drop of water? No. So it needs to reach to its origin to get its potential. So what is the way? You are having a drop of water, it can evaporate from the cloud, then it can rain, reach to the sea. Other option may be it can go to canal, to the river, to the sea. So there can be different way to reach to the destination, but destination is the same. What is destination is the yoga, union. So there are different way to reach to that destination, but in any case the destination is same, that is the yoga, union. So now I will briefly discuss this about creation of the life. So as we know, there is a superpower and self-conscious, that is Atma. So now you just see this Atma is covered by 5 different layers. So what is the first layer? First layer is called Anandamaya Kos. This is the layer of light, and here the major element is space. The second layer is Vijnanmaya Kos. This is the layer of our intellect, our buddhi, and here the major element is air. Then third one is the Manomaya Kos, or the layer of our mind. Here major element is fire. The fourth layer is our ethereal body, or you can say Pranamaya Kos, and here the major element is water. And last one is our physical body. It is called Annamaya Kos, and here the major element is earth. So what we need, if I want to connect with this our source or the superpower, we need to remove or cross these layers. And for crossing these layers, we need to do sadhana. We need to do practice. So if you remember this, Ishwarans Jiv Avinashi. So we all are the part of the same superpower. So what is the nature of that superpower? It says Chetan. It is perpetual. It does not change. It is permanent. It is Amal. It is purest. It is Sahaj. Simple. It lives in the equilibrium, and it is the source of Sukh Rasi, source of the happiness or source of the pleasure. So we need to connect with our superpower. How to connect? We need to cross these layers, and for crossing these layers, we need to do the sadhana or the practice. So here we can apply this law of energy conservation. What it says that total energy of the universe is constant. So in that way, the total energy of the superpower is constant. It is divided into different forms. That's why we all know this Atma is immortal. It means this energy can leave to one body, can go to other body, but total energy as such remains constant. So to achieve this, what we need to do? We need to do sadhana. So whatever efforts or endeavor we do to realize ourselves, they are termed as sadhana. And what is that? Sadhana is you have to reach and cross these 5 kosas or 5 strata, and for each step there are separate sadhana. So one practice cannot enable you to cross all 5 stages. So for each stage there are different sadhana. For example, Annamaya course, that external endeavors, like we do fasting, we go to temple, we do the idol worships. So these are the sadhana for to cross the Annamaya course. Next comes the Pranamaya course. The sadhana for Pranamaya course is Hatha Yoga. We do this asana, mudra and pranayam. And then next comes the Manomaya course. Here the sadhana for Manomaya course is meditation or upasana. Next is followed by Vijnanamaya course. Here the sadhana is Buddhi Yoga. And last one is Anandamaya course. And here the sadhana is called Samarpana Yoga. That complete surrender. Then we can cross these 5 stages. So the first two, when we do the first 2 sadhana, that is called external sadhana, and last 3 is called internal sadhana. So if you want to achieve to our goal, ultimately we have to do the internal sadhana. So for this we need a guide, we need a master, we need a guru who has crossed all these 5 stages, so he knows the method or the practices which are required to cross those different strata, different courses. So what he does, if you go to him, he will first evaluate what is our present state, then accordingly he prescribes the sadhana needed to cross the next level. So here comes the difference between this academic knowledge and the experience. In case of academic knowledge, it has certain limitation. We can read the book, we can give the seminar, we can give the lecture, but what experience does, experience enables to devise the simple methods, simple tricks to overcome the real challenges of the process when we go for any process. So that may be applicable to the material world as well as to the spiritual world. So now based on these 5 layers, there are 3 different types of bodies, that is called Sthul Sharir, ethereal body, Sukshma Sharir, that is astral body, and eternal Sharir, that is Sukshma, that is the Karan body. Sthul, Sukshma and Karan. And these first 2 layers, Annamaya and Pranamaya course, constitute this physical body. This Manomaya course is the part of this astral body, and this for Karan Sharir, this Vijnanamaya and Annamaya course. So what happens when our mind is diverted towards the physical body? So whatever action we do, that is called Vyavahar. And when our mind is diverted towards our eternal body, so whatever actions or activity we do, that is called Paramarth. So once we reach the stage of equilibrium, means what? What will happen? There will be a state of equilibrium between these 2 as well, Paramarth and Vyavahar. So in another word, we can define the state of equilibrium between this Vyavahar and Paramarth is yoga. So now I will discuss what are the different forms of sadhana. So these different forms of sadhana can be classified into 3 main categories, that is the Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So in case of Karma Yoga, it is performed by our body and senses. Here the mind helps, and few examples of Karma Yoga I have listed here: Hatha Yoga, Tantra Yoga, Shabda Yoga, Jap Yoga, Prana Yoga, Mudra and Asana. So these Karma Yoga enables us to cross these first 2 layers, that is Annamaya and Pranamaya course. And what is the result of it? it purify our physical body. It purify our ethereal body. So for the Karma Yoga, as the name suggests, we are doer there. So we perform the physical activity, that's why it is done by our senses or our body. So next comes the Upasana Yoga. Upasana means, as the word suggests, up plus asana, means we are sitting in front. Sitting in front of what? We can sit in front of, there are two categories, one is something has form, other thing formless. So when we sit in front of form, let's say your Lord is Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, so that is called Bhakti Yoga. So Upasana, when we do the Sakar Upasana, that is called Bhakti Yoga. So yesterday you have listened more about the Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga means we are doing Upasana, but that is the Sakar Upasana. Next comes, you can do the Upasana of the spiritual, or you can say divine power. In that case, what it says, that is called Upasana, means that is the formless. We are considering, or your object or target is the formless. So you can take either one. So here Upasana is performed by Man. So few examples of Upasana is meditation, concentration and renunciation, that is Nirodha. And this Upasana enables us to cross this Manomaya course, and it purify our Sushma Charit, that is astral
Yama
body.
Niyama will belong to Karma Yoga?
Which one?
The Yama Niyama.
Yeah, they will belong to Karma. So this is, second one is the most important, or you can say the most difficult layer to cross. If you can cross this, somehow you can cross this Manomaya Yoga or Manomaya course, then we enter to the Gyan Yoga, and here our Buddhi performs this Gyan Yoga. And few examples for the Gyan Yoga is self introspection, that is called Swadhyaya, Satsang and Vivek. And what we cross here is the Vijnanmaya course, and it purify our internal body. What does it mean? It says that still we have one more body left, that is Anandamaya course. So our sadhana does not stop to the Jnana Yoga, it goes further, and that last one is the Prem Yoga. It is needed to cross this Anandamaya course, and followed by the last one is Samarpan Yoga, the complete surrender. So these are, I have explained briefly what are the different type of sadhana, and this is performed to cross which stages, or which to cross which layers. Now I will briefly discuss this Ashtanga Yoga. This is also known as the system of self-realization. So it has 8 limbs. Start with Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. So in case of Yam, Yam means, as the name suggests, restraints. So it has 5 parts, that is Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya and Aparigraha. So all of us knows about all this. Next comes Niyam, that is the observances. It has 4 arms. Those are Sauch, cleanliness, Santosh, containment, Tap, to purify our body, mind and speech, and Ishwar Pranidhan, surrender to the higher power. Then next comes Asana. Asana, as we know, it is a fixed posture which is relaxed and comfortable, followed by Pranayam. Pranayam, as the word suggests, control of prana, means control of your vital energy. So we do the control of vital airs of the body through regulation of the breathing, or you can say breathing exercise. Then next comes the Pratyahar. Pratyahar means withdrawal of our senses from external objects. Means we are thinking something, we feel this is not needed, we concentrate ourselves to the object, that is called Pratyahar. So these first 5 limbs of this Yoga Shastra is the part of Bahya Satsang. The next comes 3, that is Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Dharana means concentration. We concentrate our mind to our aim. It may be the Sakar, it may be the Nirakar, whatever you like, you can assume. Then when we perform Dharana, we reach to the next stage, that is the meditation. In the simple word, you can define meditation as unbroken flow of thought towards your goal or towards your object. That is the Dhyan. This is next is followed by Samadhi. Samadhi is simply defined as super conscious experience or absorption. So when we go deep into meditation, so the true nature, whatever we have assumed, that object comes in front of us. So that is the first step of Samadhi. Further, if you just see, there can be different stages of Samadhi, that is called Jagrat Samadhi, Swapna Samadhi and Susupti Samadhi. The first one, when we see our real object in front of us, that is the first stage of Samadhi, Jagrat Samadhi. So that we can discuss in some other lecture about more detail about Samadhi. But here what it says in the Ashtanga Yoga, the first 5 is called this Bahya Satsang or Bahirangas, and last 3 is called this internal acts or Antarangas. Now I will briefly describe about this Ramashram Satsang Mathura. So it was founded in 1930 by Guru Maharaj, the Param Sant Dr. Chaturbhuj Sahaji, and it was named after his Guru Param Sant Sri Ramchandra Ji. It was formed to help anyone who is interested in enlightenment. So about his education, he studied English, Hindi, Urdu, Farsi and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electro-homeopathy and also basic knowledge of Ayurveda, and he genuinely used his experience for the selfless social service. So what he developed or what he gave us is the system of meditation which he received from his Guru to the whole world. And as of now, this Ramashram Satsang Mathura is headed by Param Pujya Sri Alok Kumar Ji, who is representing the 3rd generation. So I will just refer one quote here by Param Sant Dr. Chaturbhuj Sahaji. The more spiritual a person is, the more he is a human in the daily life. The more spiritual a person is, the more he is human in the daily life. So what he did, he researched about the Atma Yoga. Atma Yoga means self-realization and knowing to the others. So he refined and simplified this ancient yoga and meditation practices to make it easy to do and understand. Because nowadays, if you see ourselves, what we want, we started the meditation today, what we expect, today itself we should realize, today itself we should reach to our destination. So we don't have that patience that we can go to ashram and do this rigorous meditation or meditation. So for that he simplified to such a level that he perfected a guided meditation system on transcendent life. So he suggested that in Upasana you can choose whatever object, but he suggested it's better if you choose a transcendent life. So he devised a system of sadhana which is unique unification of all 3 parts, karma, upasana and jnana, and the core of his unification is achieved through dhyan, which we can do in the morning and evening for 15 to 20 minutes. So as I told, this meditation is all about practice, not about the lecture. And as of now there are followers in more than 100 countries across the world. So what he refined or simplified this ancient yoga. So he started with dharana. Dharana means we have to concentrate to a object. How we can concentrate? Sthir Sukham Asanam. We have to sit comfortably, relaxed. So in this way it also includes the 3rd limb, that is the asana. And what happens, as we know the nature of our mind, the moment we concentrate on one object, n number of thoughts pours into it. So what we need to do, we need to again go back to our target, and this process is called this pratyahar. So we do dharana and pratyahar together, and in case once we practice is, the next step is the dhyan. We enter into the meditation, and the deep stage of meditation is the samadhi. So when we go to this samadhi, what happens? Your focus is only on the object. Or you can say, if you remember the first lecture of Dr. Manjunath, in case of samadhi, even our breathing pattern is totally balanced, or even our pulses are balanced. So in that way, this pranayam is also fulfilled there. And as we know, we have three bodies: stool, Sukshma and Karan, and all three are interconnected. So once we purify our eternal bird or the inner body, it also enables us to purify our physical body. So in this way, these yam niyam are also taken care of. So in this way, he redefined the sequencer in such a way which is easy and simplified, and which can be performed while performing our daily duty. We need not see what happens when we saw this notice. There is a lecture on the yoga. So many of us got afraid. Yoga is not our cup of tea. We stay away from the yoga, because we think the yoga need to be performed when we are wanderer, when we should not leave our family if we are doing the yoga. It restricts our material world. So those are these misconceptions. I hope I will be able to clarify few of those doubts. For yoga, we can do whatever we are doing along with our daily routine, and in fact it helps us to improve the efficiency in the physical world or material world as well. Now I will just quickly go through what is upasana. As I told, upasana means you have to sit in front of your object. So that object, it is freedom to you, whatever is your faith, but the faith should be 100%. There should be no deviation in the faith, whatever is choose, and it start with Triputi, that is the triology. So if you just see here, in case of upasana, the first stage is the practitioner, sadhak, next is superpower, and third in between there is a guide or the guru. Why we need this? You just see the simple example here. In this room we have all the electrical devices, fan, and also we have a power station. If you connect directly to these appliances, what will happen? All will get destroyed. So for this we need a transformer. So Guru is like a transformer who is connected to the power station, but at the same time he gives the energy whatever we can sustain or what is required for us. So this upasana start with 3, then after that it goes to 2, and finally it ends up with the 1. So at the last stage, that is the samadhi, the practitioner forgets about himself. He totally emerges into that object, or you can say that superpower. So that's why it is said that upasana it does not come on its own. You cannot do upasana by reading the books. For this you need the master, because this triology need to be formed. Now let's see what is the science behind this. The science of perception. When we see something first, then we think about it, then only we perform or do our actions. The same thing applies over here in the upasana. When we sit in front of, then accordingly it says, Tom yathopaste tadev bhave. So whatever we think, we transform accordingly. So for example, we are aware of the Eklavya. What he did? He was not allowed to go to the ashram of Drodacharya because of his caste. What he did? He prepared his idol and practiced. And we know he mastered the archery. Second example is Mamira. She has 100% belief that Lord Krishna is always there with her. Third example, this we all know, this is called Bringi Sadhana. So when insect is caught by the beetle, it breaks the soil structure. So what happened? That insect, he always thinks about the beetle, and the moment it comes out of that soil structure, it is transformed in the form of beetle. That is called Bringi Sadhana. That's why it says, Tvam yatho pasate tadeva bhavat. Whatever object we are starting with, we can be completely transformed into it. So if you connect ourselves with the superpower, if you connect ourselves with this perpetual bird, then we can achieve what we are looking for, real happiness and pleasure. The aim of sadhana, first, if you want to get something, you need to clean your vessel. So this is your internal cleaning. Then purification of mind, or you can say crushing of manomaya kosh. So our mind have 4 different parts. Start with man, buddh, chit and ahankar. So what we need, it does concentration of man, purify the buddhi, control of thought waves of some conscious mind, that is the chit, and then it's followed by the overcome the ahankar. So that's why about the yoga, it is said yogas chit vritti nirodha. So if you can control your chit, then that is the stage called yoga. So we need to still the mind to experience this ultimate reality, or you can say the self-realization. What we get by doing this, we achieve the self-realization and then it complete ourselves. So that is the aim or objective of the yoga. So now what is our duty? After knowing all this, we know if you want to perform any physical activity, these are the 3 steps or 3 actions. First is the Iskripa, Guru Kripa and Nij Kripa. For example, we can say we got admission into student in IIT, his parents paid the fees and all, he came here. But if he is not studying, if he cannot pass these courses, what will happen? There is no use of coming to the IIT system or anywhere. So what he got first 2 steps, but he did not do Nij Kripa. He did not put the self-effort. So the self-effort is also equally important. And luckily, if you know, there are so many 84 millions of creation, and these humans are the only who is called both karma and bhogayoni. Karma yoni means we have intelligence, we have the power of discrimination, we have the power of thinking. So that's why only the human can do this Nij Kripa, so that we can perform this yoga and connect to that our source or our origin. So what is the way forward? If you want to practice or you want to move forward, we need to find the right method from the experiences of your guide, your master or guru. Then you should have 100% faith. As I told the story of Eklavya, Mamira, even I can tell one brief story of Sant Sabari. All we know, his guru told that Lord Ram will come to your cottage one day. She has 100% faith. She daily used to clean the path, bring some fruits. She get older and older. But she has 100% faith and we all know the result. One day, Lord Ram visited to her cottage. That is the example of 100% faith. Also we have heard the story of Bhakt Prahlad. What he says, God is everywhere. And because of his belief, we know that God came from a physical body, a physical structure. And this is the Nij Kripa. We need to do regular and prolonged exercise. Why we need to do? Let's see, we are having even a closed room, we are having a mirror. What will happen? Always there will be a deposition of dust particles. So that need to be cleaned regularly. Another example, you can think of solar cooker. In the solar cooker, solar panel is there, which receive the sunlight, converts into the heat. There will be deposition of dust and all, which decreases its efficiency. So if you properly clean it, its efficiency will remain intact. So this is the process we need to do self-cleaning. As I told, our all 3 bodies are intact. Sthul, Sukshma and Karan. So meditation, we are improving our Sukshma Sharira. So once you purify this, it is also going to improve or help to your physical body. So in this way, our efficiency in our daily life will also be improved. So next thing comes this law of motion. When we go upward, we face steep and opposite resistance. So what is the resistance here? In case of yoga, that is Maya. It has different arms like calm, krodh, anger, lobh, greed, moh, attachment, mad, pride, and mats, jealousy. So now how to overcome this? For this again we need the guide or guru who teaches us the tricks to overcome these obstacles based on his experiences, and also many a times he helps us to overcome these stages through his spiritual power. So that's why we all know this. Kabir says, Guru Gobind do khade kake lago paye, Balihari Guru aapne Gobind diyo bataye. So we are thankful to the Guru who helped us to realize the God. Then once we achieve this yoga, what we say, the final realization, we says, Tomeva mata chapita tomeva, Tomeva bandhu chasakha tomeva, Tomeva vidya dravidam tomeva, Tomeva sarvam mam dev. So we say that you are father, mother, brother, friends, you are the knowledge and wealth. Finally what we say, you are everything to me. Tomeva sarvam mam dev deva. So in that case what we realize is that all of us are same. Then he says, जिधर देखता हूँ उधर तो ही तू है. So everywhere we realize that all are same. So these feelings, it should not be orally, it should be in our actual actions, which can come through the yoga. And once we are able to achieve it, our life will be totally transformed. So when we perform some, or when we can simply think, when we take some medicines, so we need to do some precautions. So I will quickly go through these 10 basic principles of sadhana. The first says, God is a superpower. It has no name or form. Whatever you are having the faith, you can assume all are fine. Second one is, if you want to seek His help, you need not live your normal life. You need not be wanderer. You can achieve while doing all your material world activity. Third is, if you want to attain the self-realization, you must find someone who has attained it, and you should seek his guidance. Next is, bring the inner happiness. As I told, Tom yatho paste tadev bhave. So if you connect to that perpetual power, superpower, so those property, one of those property is the inner happiness. So inner happiness will come within us. Fifth one is the Gyan. It brings us the peace, and it is not in the external world, it is within us. So we need to introspect and do this meditation or satsang to get that knowledge. The next comes, sixth one is, you should continue to do it most of our time to our daily duty, whatever is given to us, responsibility for the family and society, everything. But when we are practicing the sadhana, we should keep our mind free from these worldly concerns. And next one is, there are two things that are very important for the seeker or sadhak. That is, first, honest earning, and second, productive use of the time. Eighth one is says, knowledge is infinite. As I told, there are 5 different stages, and if you want to cross it, there are different sadhana for it. But if you can get a Atmagyani Guru or self-realized person, you should stay with him, and he can help you to cross those different layers. Ninth one is, you perform all your duty as a service, not as a owner, not as a ruler. So whatever is given to us, we should do all those in the spirit of service. And last one is, you live as a guest. So मैं और मेरा, instead of मैं and मेरा, you should learn तू and तेरा. So that these are the few practices which we should try to implement in our daily actions. So this is like precautions. When you want to go for medication, there should be certain restrictions or rules. And this is the greatest contribution of Ramaswamy Satsang Machra. He gave the simplified sadhana meditation to all, which anyone can perform. It may be educated, uneducated, rich or poor, any caste and religion. And he made this invaluable sadhana free for all, which is simplified, yet effective and complete without any boundaries. So as I told, this meditation is not a matter of lecture, it is a matter of practice. So I have listed a few health benefits now, direct health benefit. If you do the meditation, you will get this stress management, mental peace, concentration, inner happiness, and when we are there with our God, our Father, we always become the fearless. And indirect physical benefits, if you attend the lecture of Dr. Manjunath, this eternal body is already connected to our physical body. So if this is fine, so he already correlated there are many physical health benefits of doing the yoga. So finally I will stop with this last prayer. So what it says, Om Sahna Bhavat Sahna Bhunak Sahviryam Karva Vahay Tejasvinam Vadhitamas Ma Vidvisa Vahay. So protect us, nourish us, give us the power, give us the shining knowledge, and finally we love to everyone. So with this, these are the few references which I used for this presentation, the Sadhana ke Anubhav, spiritual insight and experience, yoga philosophy and Naveen Sadhana, Paramarth and Vyavhar. And finally, I pray to the Guru Maharaj Ji to bless us with his love and Gyan. Thank you everyone for your attention.
Are there any questions?
Can we practice yoga anytime, morning or
Yeah, so the best time is if you attend the study lecture, it's called Sat, Raj and Tam. The Sat is goes from 4 to 8, Raj from 8 to 12, then Tam from 12 to 4 again. So this is the cycle, and best time to practice meditation is in the Sat, that is the time 4 to 8. Either in the morning or in the evening. Yes, please.
How can we improve our concentration through meditation?
So meditation, if you, I think you missed it. So in the meditation, 3 stages are there: Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Dharana means we set an object and we sit in front of it. That is the first step. When we start the practicing is, we get the n number of thoughts into our mind. Then we bring back our thought to our object. So this is the process how we train to our mind. Then finally it reaches to the Dhyan, that is the concentration. So this is the process how we reach from Dharana to Dhyan, that is the meditation.
Okay. So, if any question is?
In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says the same thing only in 6th chapter. He says that when a yogi is meditating, there will be distractions and he has to bring it back to the same point and meditate.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So, anyone else? Want to ask anything? Okay. So, yes, so if there are no questions, then we thank
Yeah, thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Pandey. Okay.
So as I requested, this meditation is not a subject of teaching. So I already requested sir to organize few sessions of practical meditation. So it will be really beneficial to all of us if it can be organized. Thank you.
That is done by the chairman sports board. No? So he will look after that organization of the practical sessions. That it is done through mostly Gymkhana side.
Welfare board.
Yeah, no, this one only. He is chairman sports board, not for this. So we are organizing mostly the lectures. So it is thank you and so.